Hello everyone, and welcome to Mr. Simplified's tutorial. Before I start today's tutorial, I wanted to ask the viewers of this video to try and use the comment section to recommend any topics that you want covered in this channel. And today's topic is Jung's Theory of Personality, which is considered to be a benchmark in personality psychology. Now, Carl Jung was a Swiss psychoanalyst who was initially influenced by the work of Sigmund Freud, but later chose a different route to come up with his own analysis. Now, Jung's work is very influential and led to the development of the popular Myers-Briggs personality test. Jung's theory was actually invented to demonstrate the complexity of the human personality and its consequences. It wasn't actually developed to label people on based on their personality types. It was more a work to demonstrate the complexity of the human mind. Now, Jung's theory is essentially built on two personality attitudes, extroversion and introversion, and four functions, which are essentially also modes of orientation of the human brain, which are thinking, sensation, intuition, and feeling. Now let's look at some of the concepts here. The first concept is the concept of introvert and extrovert. Now, introversion is essentially one's focus on the inner world, while extroversion is one's focus on the outside world. In the simplest of ways, extroverted learners enjoy generating energy and ideas from other people, so people other than their own self. They actually prefer socializing and working in groups over working by themselves. While introverted learners are still sociable, they're not shy people, they actually prefer to solve problems on their own. Introverted learners enjoy generating energy and ideas from internal sources such as personal reflection or deep thought. According to Jung, it's actually not possible to demonstrate extroversion or introversion in isolation. So no person is a full extrovert or a full introvert. Every person's actually a combination of the two attitudes, although some people lean towards one or the other. Now, the concept of functional variations. Now, the two attitudes that we just discussed, introversion and extroversion, are associated with the four functions previously outlined, and that results in 8 functional variations, or also called personality types. And these are extroverted thinking, introverted thinking, extroverted sensation, introverted sensation, extroverted intuition, introverted intuition, extroverted feeling, and introverted feeling. Now, what are the applications of these functions? Now, although all 4 functions are actually used at different times by all people depending on circumstances, but there will always be a preferred single predominant function for each person, which is also called the superior function. And then there are 2 functions which individuals select as secondary functions, and then the last preference for any individual is called their inferior function. So thinking and feeling essentially are at the opposite ends of the spectrum, whereas intuition and sensation are on the opposite ends. Now let's look at this graphically to make it easier for you. As we can see in this chart, thinking and feeling are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, and intuition and sensation are at the opposite end of the spectrum. Now, elaborating on the concept of superior and inferior functions further, let's consider your superior function to be thinking. In this case, your secondary functions will be intuition and sensation, and your inferior function will be feeling. Now, expanding this into the personality types outlined, if your superior function is, say, extroverted thinking, your inferior function will be introverted feeling. Okay, hopefully that's clarified a little bit. So, although it's interesting to note that although people find it hard to use their least preferred function, it is still possible for them to use it and develop the tendency of using it fairly regularly. And using their inferior functions can actually lead people into a journey of self-discovery. It can also actually lead to strong emotional responses like anger or even unconditional love. So both positive and negative emotional responses. Okay? So now that we've looked at the concept, let's look at some applications basically. So Jung's personality theory later led to the formation of the Myers-Briggs personality test, which is still to this date often used by several organizations to actually gauge the personalities of potential employees. And an advantage actually seen by employees of using such tests is that potential employees can then be trained and assigned roles in accordance to their personality types, and then trained to be a better fit for their organization. Jung, however, highlighted that every individual is an exception to the rule, implying that although it might be possible to classify people based on their different personality types and rationalize certain traits, human behavior and personality is actually far too complicated to be understood by personality types. So Jung actually wasn't completely in support of using his theory to actually start classifying people. It was actually later developed by other people to be used as personality tools. Okay. So here was a simple, brief explanation of the basics of Jung's theory. I hope this was useful for you. I thank you very much for your attendance. And last but not the least, I really hope that you guys are all keeping safe in this time of crisis. And I hope you continue to be safe. And even if the lockdown, which is currently in place when this video was recorded, is lifted, I hope you guys are still being careful and you don't go out and start partying or socializing straight away. Okay? Please like this video and the other videos of this channel. Explore the videos and the content here. Support this content and like and spread the word. Thank you very much. Take care.